What up?
What up? We'll walk and talk with Buzz around the neighborhood. What you doing?
Just walking the dog. I'm getting ready to get back home though.
What's going
Go
on, buddy?
Hawks. Go Hawks.
Which ones?
NBA Cup semifinalists.
Oh yeah, congrats, man. I mean, congrats to all of us. Fuck, can you get this thing in here?
All of us.
Yeah, just congrats to all of us. All the members of the Legion. We're all huge Hawks fans.
All kinds of Hawks.
What happened? What? They won? They got semifinal? What happened?
Yeah, they went to the semifinals in Vegas last weekend and lost to the Bucks in the.
What does that even mean?
Yeah, I figured I'd have to explain the NBA Cup to you. It's a very European soccer model of having meaningless trophies in the middle of the season.
It's
They
just
they
like,
just
go ahead.
they do group play.
Okay.
When you see those crazy courts.
hmm Yeah, I've seen him once or twice. Lucas had it on the TV in the office. Continue. You frozen? I'll let you unfreeze. Buzz was talking to us about NBA Cup. He's explained to us what the NBA Cup is. Probably
Can you
transferring
hear?
from it there. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it's just like we were in the group with like the Celtics. That was actually the game I went to, coincidentally up in
Oh
Boston.
yeah, I
It was a
remember
cup
that.
game.
They came in returning
Um,
socks.
yeah, dude. Yeah, like we beat the Knicks to get into the semi. Anyway, it's like a FA Cup or something like over in where is that, UK, I think.
Oh,
I
so
don't know.
like yeah, I got you. Yeah. Wait, so
And
they
it's a good
like
attempt.
Champions League has the FA Cup is like their in-season tournament.
It's
I mean,
basically, I mean, what it is a marketing ploy by the NBA to get people to care about NBA in November because nobody does.
yeah. I mean, dude, the NBA, I've been saying this for a long time. Why don't they just, the only way to get people to care is basic economics. It's scarcity, right? You can't have so many fucking games. Then they're devalued.
Did
You
you
can,
listen to Bill Simmons' podcast yesterday?
you have to have less of the product to make it more valuable is basic economics. No, I didn't listen to his thing. I was actually listening to it this morning. I woke up, but I stopped it. But
I mean,
dude, why don't
he's
they
got like a
just
whole segment on this.
what is it, the games?
Yeah, I mean, he's been calling for 60 to 70 game schedules for like a decade because it's just too
Ye-
much.
Yeah, me too. Why don't they just have the whole league? How many? There's 30 teams, right? There's about
Yep.
to be another one, probably.
They're
31
gonna
would
have two
actually be a
more.
per two more. Okay, so you have 32 teams. Why don't you just play every team twice and have a 62 game or a 60 game season? Be perfect.
Perfect. Yeah.
No divisions, no fucking conferences. Everyone plays everyone twice, one home, one away, 60 games. You reduce the amount of games by what is that, like 20%, 25%. Thus, just inherently, they all go up in importance by that much. Ratings would go up by that much. Ticket prices would go up by that much.
Yeah.
Then you have a season, and then you have people actually invested. It's like, oh shit, this is our home game against the Celtics. Oh fuck, we only have like our road game against the Celtics. It's like everything has significance, importance. Just so like flippant the way they do it now. And it's like, oh, now we're gonna add another term, like make it more complicated. You know what it is, Bus?
Yeah. I mean,
It's
it's
fucking
short
liberals, bro.
term. What is
It's liberals, bro.
it? Yeah, you're right.
Liberals always
And me,
are like very well intentioned and like have like the general goal is a one, but then they come up with these like super convoluted, over-educated, over thought out policies. It's just like more, rather than like take a
yeah.
step back, less. And all of those actions have unintended consequences. So it's like, oh, let's create a new tournament. Like to add significance and do this and that and change the courts and add more money and a new trophy and blah blah blah. It's like, bro, you're making this worse. Now I'm like confused. Is this the champion? Is this not the champion? It's like you're making this more confusing and more convoluted. Anyway,
Dude,
hate to bring it
NBA
to
is too woke,
politics,
man.
but NBA is
NBA is
too
too woke.
woke. NBA is too woke.
NBA stands for non-binary association.
No, man. I mean, NBA's badass, but they're just like they're shooting themselves in the foot.
No, what I mean, to be real, it's owners with short-term thoughts on revenue because they don't want to lose home games where they're getting, tickets and concessions and all that bullshit for because that's like that'd be like a real dent to their like revenue stream. But then you got to think about like the long-term viability of the sport and like the
Yeah, are these
long-term.
guys like is like fucking or the owner of the Hawks or Mark Cuban or Steve Ballmer? These guys like having trouble paying their mortgage? Like, what's the fucking problem here?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. They're
why
just
aren't they
fucking
more
they're
invested in like?
greedy. They're greedy assholes, dude.
First off, I don't necessarily think that they would be losing money by reducing games, right? There's less of the product, so the TV contract therefore is going to be more expensive because there's less of it. Each game is going to be more valuable. Ticket prices, there's less of them, so each game is going to be more valuable. So I don't necessarily know they're
Hmm.
going to be like allegedly losing so much money. Jack up the concessions, like people make it more valuable, make it more of a unique and valuable experience for the fan, and you can recoup your money that way. Secondly, like once again, I don't think these guys are like hurting for money. Like, why wouldn't they be more invested in? They have money. That's why they own a fucking NBA team. Like, why wouldn't they be more
Right.
investing, like increasing the quality of the product, increasing, like having an impact on the future of the league, on the future of the sport, like they can be involved in creating something better rather than just like counting more beans. I just don't understand the motivation there. It's not like these guys,
Yeah.
it's like their source of income. Like these guys need it to feed their family and send their kid to college next year. We need that fucking 81st game.
Well,
It's
also, I mean,
insane.
it'd be cool if they had a little bit more schedule expectancy. Like if the NBA, if you knew like Tuesdays and Friday nights were NBA nights or something, and there was only
Yeah.
2 games a week, and I don't know, you just knew when. Like, I never know when the Hawks are playing. Like, I just kind of like I'll follow them on Instagram or something. I'll be like, oh, they have a game tonight. Okay, and not to mention they're playing tonight. It's like this is the biggest football day in the history of mankind, and they're playing a basketball game tonight. It's like nobody is watching that. So I don't
Yeah.
know. They got to figure this shit out.
Yeah, man.
And there's 2 NFL games today, and there's these 3 playoff games. Like there's football
Dude,
from noon to
today's
midnight.
fucking today is a sick day of sports.
Yeah, yeah. This is
No
Christmas
mention of the
for
Indiana game. Don't talk about the Indiana. Don't talk about Indiana Notre Dame. Don't even. I'm going to look at you. I'm just saying, as a blanket statement, please, no mention of it during the duration of this
okay,
conversation. I haven't watched yet.
okay.
So let's pretend that didn't happen. And yeah, today is a fucking incredible day of sports.
Maybe can we do a
And
preview and then I can seem like I'm really fucking smart because I could probably predict everything.
yeah, like
Let's do an IU preview.
well, the crazy thing
Day
is the reason
after.
that's going to be hard to avoid. Let's just move on from it from here. But like whoever won that game, that's who the dogs are playing.
Yeah, that
That's
will be
fucking
tough to
nuts.
that'll
Either
be
of
tough to
those,
skirt around.
either of those, uh, bands of backwoods
Softies.
pussies, yeah, bands of backwoods pussies from Indiana are gonna get smashed when they roll into the Superdome.
Hell yeah, dude.
Hey, who else is today? Today is it ends with
Penn State's playing right now.
Penn State. Oh, they're playing right now. God damn.
Penn State SMU right now. Penn State's up.
Penn State,
Touchdown.
SMU in the
Yeah,
college
dude.
football playoff and like negative 20-degree weather in Penn State. I think I'm gonna go with Penn State on that one.
Also, ACC Atlantic Coast Conference runner-up. SMU.
SMU
They're in fucking
in
Dallas.
Dallas. Dude, it's so crazy. Why don't they just?
So
That's another
stupid.
thing. They need to. I don't know. I don't know the solution. I actually love college football right now, so I don't think like there's like in desperate need of any solution. I kind of like the chaos, but it
Yeah,
also
but
seems like
this is only sustainable for so long. I mean, they can't. This
dude, the
whole
guy.
this
Go
charade about them trying to mirror the academic calendar. It's like, give me a break. We're way
dude,
past that.
what is it like this like stud backup quarterback for Penn State is like has to transfer like and they
Yeah,
have a
because
game
he
today.
has to enroll. He has to enroll by like January 4th. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, he needs to
Kids
be
are
in it,
not
or
going to class.
he needs to be in organic chemistry for start of second semester, bro. That's
Yeah.
something you got to be there when he gets the syllabus passed out.
Yeah.
It's got to know it's on tap.
Yeah, it's
Guy's making
ridiculous.
like $1.5 million.
Yeah, exactly. So they gotta stop that charade of like making this some sort of, amateur sport. It's just not. And
The
so
prop.
that's say what?
No, man, it's like the beauty of college football is obviously the attachment to the institutions, right? That's why we're all invested to it. 'Cause we all went to UGA, and some of us went to some of us got an advanced degree at Arizona State University because we're fucking geniuses. And so
Oh
we
yeah,
have
you got a couple dogs in this fight.
I do,
Let's
baby.
go.
I'm all into the college football playoff. And like I'm Catholic, I'm a pretty devout Catholic, so hopefully the
Yeah.
Irish won last night. Um so my I wouldn't be a LOZ episode if I wasn't taking a piss. Um
True that.
um like the beauty of it all is the attachment to the institutions, right? And like the environment. Dude, these college environments are so badass. Like you turn on an NFL game, Lumen Field, no offense,
Corporate.
or like fucking the Arizona Cardinals, fucking State Farm Stadium, and like that environment, and then you turn on like dogs Longhorns or whatever, or like a home game at Sanford Stadium, or I'm sure the Penn State environment, even in the afternoon right now, is insane.
Yeah.
That is the coolest part of it all. But it's
Yeah.
also like, how do we continue this like charade of being attached to these institutions
This,
while,
okay.
while the bad.
Okay. It's very simple. It's very simple. Like, for whatever reason, for generations, it's like there's been this notion that, okay, this is a school program. These are student athletes. That's the connection to the university. We already have connections to the university. They're called stadiums. They're on campus. We already have connections to the
Okay.
university. It is massive alumni groups. Like, I don't give a shit if the starting safety, is majoring in finance. Like, who cares? Like, just be 18 to
Right.
22 years old, be, living in the city that you're playing in. Like, that's the only connection I need. I mean, it was cool to see
Okay.
players in class, when we were there, but like, who cares? Like, just wear the colors, stay in Athens, and yeah, you got 4 years of eligibility. Just keep it simple. Like, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, I agree. It was pretty sick when like me and you and Stafford and Noshan are just like running trains like
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty
potato
sick.
pie. That was awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so wait, you don't think they even need to be enrolled?
No, why? Like, what is
I
that?
mean,
I'm just
morally, I
I'm
agree with you. It just would seem kind of weird that like we're cheering for the school. I don't know, dude. That's why I'm asking the question. It's like
well.
I
Think
want to cheer for
just
the
think
school
about
and the
it.
institution, but at the same
Just
time, it's
water that seed that I just planted, because I've had a hard time over the years making that break, because I'm like, they've gotta be in like at
they
least
got to get
nine
their
hours of
degree, bro.
classes. It's like, who the fuck cares, man? Like, and that's not saying the entire roster has to be, paid athletes. You can still have Dan Jackson, who was a walk on and is now the starting safety, and he can
That
be a
guy's the
student
man. I
athlete.
love that guy.
Yeah, he's got a goatee. He looks like he's 32.
So wait, could some of the guys just be living in a penthouse in 909 and just doing whatever they want all day and going to practice, just like being a professional
Why
athlete?
not? Why not?
I mean, I don't have a great argument against it. I don't know. I guess I like them at least like being a part of the university. I guess I don't mind them.
They are. Think about how much they work. Think about how, I mean, practice and shit. Like, think about how much and if they live in Athens, and there was just as much a part of the community, in my opinion, as any other student, if not
Right.
more so.
Should they have to have like an on-campus job or something, like making the ID cards or something?
Sure,
So
sure. I don't care. Like, but I think the faster we can get past that, then we can really start to professionalize this thing and commercialize it in a way that makes sense, which I think is I mean, I don't think this will ever happen, but I think it's two divisions that of
Okay,
like,
that's where I was going.
yeah,
That's where I
like
was going.
it's
Like
two
SEC,
divisions.
Big Ten, break off. Let's just
Yes.
have.
Well, I'm also saying like hierarchy too. Like, so there's like a top division of like 30 schools. There's a bottom division of 30 schools, and
Okay. Okay.
you've got that relegation model, right?
Okay. Now
Because
we're talking.
because think about it, because there's really only like 8 to 12 schools that can win a national championship, just from a resourcing
Right.
perspective, from a talent perspective, etc. So when you start, if you
Hmm.
want to draw that line of like of splitting off these conferences, like you're gonna have Arkansas, you're gonna have Vanderbilt, you're gonna have Cal, like all these schools that are just gonna be kind of left in this no man's land.
Right.
Because if you just break off 8 to 12 of the schools that can actually win, like nobody's going to watch that. It's too small. But you've got to include these teams. But they're going to be the bottom feeders. They're going to be the what the Newcastles of
You're right.
EPL, where they're
Nottingham
vacillating between
Forest.
yeah they're vacillating between the middle and the bottom half of the table. And
Uh-huh.
so I think it gives you something to like fight. The relegation piece is what's cool because like now, if you're an Arkansas fan and you're 8-4 and you have a bowl game and you need to win that bowl game to like stay in the top division, it's like that's
Right.
kind of cool. It gives
That's
you something to
badass.
root for.
This is a good idea. I've never thought considered the relegation piece. That would also solve this fucking strength of schedule issue to some extent, right? Because it's like you got the top 30. So, you've got how many regular season games they play now? 11, 12. So it's like,
12.
your 12 regular season games have to be played within that top 30. So at least everyone that's going to make the playoffs is playing within that pool of the top teams. And you don't have to have this. It's very weird now with this strength of schedule and like some of these teams, SMU making it to the playoff alongside Georgia. It's crazy. So that would kind of solve that too, because everyone's swimming in that elite pool, and then the second tier teams seems like the second tier would be bigger, like maybe like 100 teams. I don't know. Uh,
Yeah,
and then
sure.
they can just kind of do whatever the fuck they want within that pool, and it's all just kind of equal. And then whoever
Hey,
rises to the top of that,
and you could have two playoffs. Like they could have the
yeah,
second division playoffs going on.
yeah,
That I mean, I don't think that'll ever happen.
yeah.
There's too much semantics that they'd have to figure out probably, but I don't think that schools would want to agree. Like if FSU for this year, for instance, like they would have been relegated. Like they'd be in that second tier because they were awful. They were like 1-11 or 2-10 or whatever they were.
Yeah.
So I don't know if schools want to sign up for that, but I don't know. It's something to be said for it.
Yeah, I mean, next year, then they got the chance to dominate
Sure. Yeah.
and shine. And like all of their players can know that they can shine again. Obviously everyone wants to play in the top tier, but there would be benefits to going down to the lower tier, right? You'd have
Yeah.
potentially all these stud athletes. Potentially as like a recruit, you could look at that as an advantage, right? Like, oh shit, maybe I
Well,
didn't
you
hear
can win. You can still
five.
call it a national championship. It's
Yeah.
Division
Oh,
Two
and
national
like
champions or whatever.
you could still be a 5-star recruit or whatever, and like maybe add a couple, an arrest or something, or didn't have quote, I don't know. I guess academics will be less of a part of it, but you can still be a high level recruit and go to relegated FSU and be like, fuck, man, I'm gonna get to play FIU and FAU like all next season. I'm gonna put up some fucking numbers.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there's something there, but they've got to figure this out because this whole transfer portal timing thing is
Dude,
and
it's crazy.
did you see the story about the Vanderbilt quarterback
What's
Diego
his Pavia?
Pavara or whatever his name is?
Pavia. Wait,
Pavia,
isn't he
yeah,
like
yeah. Did you
trying
see
to
that he got
play
his
forever?
he got so that's what's funny, right? He just got granted a like 6th year of eligibility, and I think it was either Sarkeesian was one of the head coaches was like kind of calling it out, being like, okay, if these guys are making NIL money, like what's to stop them from just continuing to apply for extra years of eligibility? Like, because they're not going to make the league. Like, what if they just stay on campus for 10 years? And obviously they've got rules against that now, but like if dudes are getting 6, 7, 8 years of eligibility, like that's pretty
Yeah.
wild. I mean, you have to get hurt or like get some kind of hardship, but like that's the one thing you want to avoid is like some sort of like over professionalization of it where you've got 32-year-old starting quarterbacks for University of Georgia. I don't think we want that.
Yeah, dude. Dude, it's pretty crazy. Like, I'm a pretty diehard sports fan, have been my whole life. Like, just like you. Granted, like my college over last prior to like this year, basically, I'd kind of not followed college football very closely. Uh, but it's kind of crazy. Like, I don't understand the system at all, really. Like, did they just I had heard I listened to this guy, Joel Klatt. I listened to his podcast,
Yeah,
Fox's big games. Um, and he was saying, I guess like a couple years ago, when all this was really starting to bubble, like anti-NCAA, pro player rights, whatever, that I guess the lawyers or whoever was kind of pushing this, I think there was kind of a class action lawsuit or something, uh, that they had kind of come to NCAA and had been like, listen, just give us the NIL, which I think meant like basically let us monetize our own selves, right? Allow us
yeah,
the ability to get sponsors, to like advertise on social media, allow us to get paid by the video game. Like you don't have to pay us directly, but allow us to take advantage of our celebrity, essentially.
yeah, yeah.
Which is crazy. Like in hindsight, it's fucking insane that that wasn't the case always. Um,
Agreed.
but apparently, I guess the lawyers came to them like, just allow that, and we can just keep it moving. And the NCAA and like all of their infinite ignorance was just kind of like double down, like, no, we're kicking the can down the road. Well, and then that has opened up this current situation to like the lawyers have gotten in, the courts have stepped in, and now it's just like this fucking wild free for all where they're clearly allowed to take advantage of their name, image, and likeness. They're also getting paid, and I don't quite understand that. I don't think anyone does, right? It's just like the boosters, individual boosters for each team are just coming in and funding this. It's not like there's like a centralized revenue source like the
It's all
NCAA is paying them, right? It's all just kind of like under the table booster shit. And then on top of that, like there's just infinite eligibility now. Like I don't understand the eligibility thing at all. Like you just play
there's not
forever?
infinite. It's not infinite. It's just, if you miss a year because of injury, or if you've got like some sort of hardship where you didn't play or whatever, like then you can get an extra year. They did do some story on a guy who went to Miami, and I think he
Yeah,
got
their guy to
eight
Miami was like
eight
an eighth year
years.
senior or something. Yeah.
Yeah, fucking insane. So, but those are rare. Those are
But
super
that is
super
that
rare.
also because these like crazy long eligibility terms or whatever, is that also because of COVID? Is COVID
Yeah, yeah.
baked into this
That
right now?
that plays into it. Everybody
Okay.
got an extra year because of COVID, pretty
Gotcha, gotcha,
much.
gotcha, 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 gotcha.
Like I guess why Beck has an extra year. Like Beck can come back next year for Georgia if he wants, which we're all kind of hoping he
I like
doesn't.
Gunner. Gunner.
Yeah, yeah, dude.
I'm a Gunner guy.
Yeah, I know you are.
I
Dude,
see a
Jimmy and
lot
I
of
were at that
myself in that
game.
youngster. I know, dude. That's so cool. That fucking last leg, man, when he's just like diving in with reckless abandon. Like, how much
Yeah, he
cocaine was that
basically
guy on?
died.
And then just gets obliterated and like falls back on his own. Oh my god, that play was insane.
Yeah.
Is he play? What's the deal? Who's playing next week? Or
It's still not confirmed, I don't think, but it's pretty clear that the rumblings are Beck is done. Like he messed up his
his
UCL
elbow's
pretty
fucked
bad.
up? Okay.
Yeah.
It was already hurt. Didn't he hurt in the week before? Wasn't it
I
already
think he had
hurt?
another. Yeah, he had another injury, like a minor injury that was lingering. I think, like shoulder, maybe. I don't know.
It's Gunner time, baby.
Yeah, it is.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, he's cut from the Stetson Bennett cloth.
Yeah, he is. I actually think Carson Beck is very good. I just don't like, I mean, not that I know the guy or have like even heard more than like a post game interview with him or anything. I don't know. I just get like a very not like Georgia vibe from the guy.
Well,
You
yeah,
know,
you can kind of. I don't think the guys really like him all that much. I don't think he's a super
that's
likable
what I'm
dude.
talking about. He seems
Yeah.
very talented. I think of not once again, I'm not fucking any expert. But like of all the quarterbacks I've seen this year, granted I've seen him way more than anybody else. Like I think he's really good. Like I think he
Yeah.
is great on talent. Nat is relatively composed in the pocket. I think Georgia's skill position players blow. This dude drops
Yeah,
so many passes. But the
yeah.
dude, Arian Smith,
Aaron
I mean,
Smith. Yeah,
what the fuck,
brutal.
dude?
Yeah, it looks
That
like he
guy
claps.
dropped
It looks like he
so many
claps the
passes.
football.
He looks like a middle school
Yeah,
like he looks like a middle school receiver. He's fast as fuck, obviously,
he's
but
so
like
fast.
Jesus Christ,
Yeah, yeah.
he's so bad.
He's he's
Um,
not getting a ton of support this year. I'll give him some slack for that.
yeah, I think he's good. I think Carson Beck is good, but I just don't like his. I don't know. I don't like the cut of his jib, Buzz. I don't like the cut of his jib.
Yeah, I agree. His jib is
His
uncut.
jib is not cut well.
Yeah, it's not
I'm a big jib guy. I've always been a big jib guy.
yeah. Yeah. Uh, what else?
I don't know,
Seahawks got boat raced.
bro. How cool is it though? They did get boat raced, but it's pretty cool that like I've also been following NFL very closely, and the NFL is just so much more boring. I hate to say that because like all this is about Mike and the Seahawks or all these like regular Zoom calls. But dude, the NFL has been so boring compared to college. Uh, like I
You think
find
so?
it, dude. Yeah,
Did you
I
watch
haven't
that
been.
Falcons Raiders game? Please tell me you didn't.
No, the only game I watched the highlights of every game, and
Okay.
it's gross.
How long was that clip? Like
Highlights of
42
every single
seconds?
game. Dude, unfortunately, like some of these clips they're still like 15 minutes long from the NFL. I just watched the NFL's cut. It's so funny too. The NFL always cuts out. They have the best, like most comprehensive highlight cuts, edits, but they always cut out the concussions and shit. Always like cut a little soon.
That's
When the dude
great.
gets laid out. So I still watch the highlights, and then I watch the full Seahawks game every week, and I watch the full Vikings game every week.
Dude,
Um,
the Vikes.
but it's bro, the Vikes are fire, man. They're
Yeah, they
really
are.
good. I'm so nervous about this. I'm all Seahawks for this weekend, but I'm extremely nervous that the Vikes are about to go in there and light shit up.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
they play this
this
weekend.
is an inner house divided for you, Train.
Yeah, man. Well, it's been a really hard week for me. All right? I haven't slept a wink. Um, but dude, the Seahawks are like the most interesting team in the league. Like the NFL this season's not that compelling. Like, everything's kind of wrapped up as far as like who's making the playoffs and everything. And it's been pretty predictable. It's been pretty NBA-ish, like in terms of who we thought was going to be good and who's
Hmm.
not. Uh, but the Seahawks, I feel like are like honestly like the most like interesting team. They're so up and down. They're so inconsistent, and then they're them and the NFC West is like the only division that's up for discussion, really. Um, or it's still up in the air as far as who's going to win it. Uh, so it's interesting. They legitimately are like the most interesting team. I feel like the Seahawks. And it's like Geno. No one knows. Like, there's a lot of unanswered questions. No one knows if Geno's coming back. No one knows if DK Metcalf is coming back. Uh,
Dude, Sam Howell looked pretty rough.
dude, that was so bad.
He looked rough.
That was so bad, dude. It
Big
was
fat face energy.
huge fat face energy. He looked like he had never taken an NFL snap. Look like a rookie in his first game.
Hmm.
He looked like fucking Anthony Richardson. Like
Yeah, that was brutal.
completely disheveled. um, yeah. And I'm very nervous about tomorrow. But apparently Gino's playing. And then after that, buddy, they come home to Los Angeles to decide this
Oh
thing.
yeah, nice. Are you gonna see Mike this time?
I hope so, but like if they lose that game and therefore lose the division, I highly doubt he's gonna want to like say what's up after the game.
You should
You know,
offer to babysit Jack.
like Mike is not like struggling for childcare. Like, hey man, I know childcare's expensive in Seattle. Yeah. It's one of the highest costs for any American family, so
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
very, very
I'm sure they'll figure it out. Um, give
like
me a
I know your
grade.
wife's probably gotta work in the morning.
Give me a letter grade on the Kirk Cousins contract.
Bro. Uh well,
F
remember
minus.
I told you at Joe's bachelor party in the hot tub that if the Falcons signed Kirk Cousins, they'd make the playoffs. And I wasn't necessarily
Well,
wrong.
yeah, well, not yet. If they went out, they could still sneak
What
in.
is it? Is it like 100 million, 4 years, $100 million?
Well, the on paper was 4 years, 180.
180?
Yeah, they paid him 67 this year,
Did
and
they
they paid him
think they were
20.
signing fucking Patrick Mahomes? What the fuck?
Yes, they paid him 67 million this year and 27 million for next year.
$67 million
For 14 games.
of a dude coming off a torn ACL at age 37 or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, we're paying him about $4 million per interception.
Holy
So
shit. Who's running the team?
you know that Arthur Blank
Blank
guy?
fucking Sonnen? Yes, he's
No,
like fucking.
it's still Arthur Blank. He's like 86.
Did they not have a GM?
They have a GM. He's the guy who signed that contract and then drafted a quarterback.
Like Arthur Blank Jr.?
No, he's Terry Fontenot. They got him from the Saints. He's
What
a
happened to Dimitrov?
They fired his ass.
Damn, maybe we should haul on that guy.
I mean, they just need a clean house, man. 28-3. Get rid of Blank. Get rid of his ass. Fire yourself.
Happened
But
was Dimit was Dimitrov.
he's putting himself in the ring of honor instead of firing himself.
Wait, who is?
Arthur Blank.
Oh,
He put
that's
himself in the
right.
ring of honor.
That's right. I forgot about that. That was like earlier this
So
season,
stupid.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that. I remember Simmons talking about that.
Roddy White had to do this awkward like introduction at halftime or something.
Roddy White was his the guy who
MC
introduced him.
basically. Yeah.
Roddy White.
He's man.
Julio was like, nah, man.
Yeah.
Like, can we get fucking Jesse Tuggle? Is Jesse Tuggle out there? Jesse Tuggle for this
Yeah,
weekend?
Jesse Tuggle's up there. Yeah. Jesse Tuggle's
Uh,
up in the rafters.
was Dimitrov the GM of 28-3?
Yeah, he was.
Oh, okay. Dude, Dimitrov was good. I mean, sorry they fucking blew that
Yeah.
game, but
It wasn't his fault. It was Shanahan's fault.
definitely not his fault. Um, but yeah, that Kirk Cousins contract is horrific.
Yeah, it's brutal.
I mean, it's really bad. I mean, it's interesting. I like to, be able to. It'd be very nice to get like a candid response from like what the thinking was on that, because the contract came before Penix, right?
It did. And I think Simmons has brought it up, and it's a really good point that you almost wonder if like they did their normal physical before they signed the contract and that everything looked okay on the Achilles. But then maybe once they got him in the building,
They're
like
like,
saw
oh
him.
fuck.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's possible. I think it's very possible that they had
Or
like instant regret. Like, I mean,
like,
you see how bad he's played this year. I mean, my God, he can't move and he can't throw. Like, those are two pretty important things for a quarterback.
yeah, I heard some stat at some point a couple weeks ago that he was like the only quarterback in the league who hadn't reached like some miles per hour number on his throws or something.
Yeah, yeah. He's just lobbing balls.
It's like
It's
Chad
so bad.
Pennington.
Pretty much. I really feel bad. This is gonna. I hope that Julie doesn't hear this because
Oh, she's
Knights
gonna
for
hear it,
life.
bro. She follows me very closely.
Knights for as you're getting ready to urinate. Um, I feel
Hey,
bad,
Jules,
but
miss you, babe.
they're gonna they're gonna have to move again. Like I think they were like planning to be here for 4 years, and like back in Julie's hometown. Like, he's gonna
I
sign
think
like the
they'll be all
Titans
right.
or something.
I think they'll be all right. He's gonna retire. Made
I think
$67
so, right?
million dollars last year or this year.
He's made 300 in his
Dude, that guy
career.
has made so much money.
300
Is
million
he like the
dollars.
richest NFL player of the last of like this generation?
Well,
He's
Mahomes has the biggest contract, but
Yeah, but Kirk Cousins has had like 5 different contracts.
as far as earned money, yeah, he's got to be up there. I mean, he's earned close to $250 million, I think.
He used to always just have like these 1 year deals, but they were always like the average of the top five paid
Yeah,
quarterbacks or
because he got
something.
franchised. Yeah,
Yeah,
he got franchised 2 years in a row. Like, which typically being franchised is bad, but he's been on the records like thanking the Redskins for franchising him because
yeah.
it made him so much money.
Apparently, people love Kirk Cousins. I've always thought he's like a huge goober, but apparently last week I was hearing like the Viking, like the when they played the Vikings 2 weeks ago, like the entire team like stayed on the field after the game to like each individually like dap up Kirk Cousins and like
I
wish him
guess
good luck and stuff.
yeah, probably 'cause they felt bad about how bad he's playing.
I don't know. I think he's just like a lovable goober.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Just
Christian,
not a great
dude,
quarterback.
Christ is making a comeback. I'm sorry to say it, but like Jesus is making a comeback.
Sorry to say it. Jesus is making a comeback.
Dude,
Well,
I hear all of these. I don't know. I just thought Jesus was kind of on the way out, like God and religion and like um, like modernism and like, I mean, it kind of like brings us away from that kind of stuff. And it was like to be a smart, educated person in the 21st century, you kind of looked at religion and all that shit as like, silly, stupid people believe in God. Uh, but I think it's coming for full circle. I feel like God is back. I feel like Jesus is like he's back for like successful elite level members of
are
our
hipsters going to
society.
church? Are you
I
saying
think it's
hipsters are
coming
going to
back.
church?
Yeah, bro, you should get in. I'm looking into it.
Hipsters are going to church, baby.
First off, dude, I've been to church a few times in the last several years. There's some honeys in church. I think it's a really untapped market for babes.
Oh,
Um,
it's literally untapped.
that's what I'm saying. Uh, and then also, I don't know if I've told this during the podcast or not, but I think it was in 2024, relatively recently, sometimes in the last year, I believe it was. I was on a dating app and matched with this complete smoke monster on a dating app, like way out. Usually I'm at like it's within, like my range in life in general, not just dating apps, is like sixes, sevens. Like I can sneak an eight in there every now and then if like things are going really well or whatever. Uh this chick was like 10. I was like, what is going on here? This is either like some fucking Macedonian kid in his like grandma's basement in Eastern Europe, like jerking off to my picture, like our chat interactions, or like something's up with this girl. And so I kept going, getting numbers, setting up a date. Da, 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 da. I go meet up with this girl. She's legit. Like she's a little younger than us. I think she's like 30 and just a bombshell. Great body, everything, whole package. Turns out she's like uber Christian, born
Mm,
again, born again.
mm,
Was not like
mm,
raised that way. So she like I'm sure had I know she had like her, normal youth exploration. I didn't get into it, but I think something bad, traumatic we got happened to her in her 20s and that like
mm.
brought about this search, this rebirth. Anyway, her and I went out to a bar and like got a drink. And I'm like, dude, this is about to go down. Like, I don't, this seems too easy. Like, this is all
Hmm.
happening way too easy. So it became clear after like a drink or two, she's like, I'm a like born again virgin as well. Like, I'm now like re-saving myself for marriage, right? She's the chick lived a
Did she have a
normal
hymen
life.
implant?
Is that a thing? Is that a thing? Can you get that?
No,
I want to get my
no.
foreskin back, bro. I want to get my foreskin back. I don't know if
Dude,
it's the same doctor.
dude, we need to have a whole episode on foreskin.
Yeah, I'm all about it. Sounds like an
I feel
untapped
like
market.
something was taken from me without my permission.
Yeah, man. My foreskin was
Fucked
taken
up.
from me without her permission, and maybe I don't know. Maybe this girl something was taken from her without her permission. I didn't get the details.
Mm,
Um, hopefully I don't know. Anyway, this chick was not down. It became clear the chick's not down the fuck. Although, like,
mm.
We start necking in this. Dude, she took me to like a like a goth dominatrix club.
Hmm.
She took me to some club in LA. Granted, this is a professed born again Christian who like goes to church, is like resaving herself for marriage. Next thing I know, I'm like sucking this chick's titties while like people are like strapped up next to us, getting like whipped by like some bald old man.
Whoa. Well, I guess okay. I mean,
So
let's
I keep thinking,
counterpoint.
like, I think this chick might break within the next 45 minutes
No,
because
no, no, no. Counterpoint. 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 If you're gonna lose your virginity at an early age in a traumatic way, and or whatever, like, if you're not really a virgin, because you can only be a virgin once, but then you claim to be born again, so you're gonna really fight the
right.
urges. There's two ways that you can
Yeah.
stay true to your born again virgin status. One is
Yeah.
being completely asexual, and the
Yeah.
other is just like going right up to the line every
Yeah.
day, just
100%.
not having intercourse.
100%. 100%.
So
And that's exactly what I realized I got myself involved in,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah,
And which is like for me the worst position to be in. It's like why I don't like
yeah,
strip clubs, right? It's like I don't
yeah.
want I either want to go to church and like be spiritual and like meditative, or I want to go to fucking ecstasy orgy. Like I don't want to go into like this like weird middle ground, like a strip club where it's like, oh man, these hot chicks sometimes. Uh it
Sometimes.
like, oh, their boobs are in my face, but I can't touch them. Like, oh, my boner is so big, but I can't fuck them. Like, why are you doing this to yourself? And I basically found myself on the date version of that, like paying for this chick's drinks. Uh,
Yeah.
well, I'm still holding out hope. Like, I don't know, man. This chick definitely has some sort of sexual interest. So, like, maybe, you know, something happens here. By the time I drive her home, like, maybe I get invited inside.
Mm,
Didn't happen. By the time I drove her home, it wasn't happening. But dude, we're like making out in her car, touching tits, like all they grab my dick, like it's all this shit's going down. Once again, right up to the line where it's like I'm not in seventh grade, so this isn't really doing it for me. This is just like ultimate frustration. Uh,
right.
so I did not get invited in her house. She like left me in the house. But anyway, the entire point of me saying the story in regards to like Jesus making a comeback, God making a comeback, is she kept telling me, she's like, man, in the Christian community, you're a 10. She's like, you can have any girl you want at my church. And she's like, they're all in their early 20s. She was like selling it hard. She's like, all these chicks, she's like, there's just a bunch of hot virgins
Damn,
at
dude.
my church.
She'd give Kirby Smart a run for his money on recruiting.
Dude, I know. I was like, oh, where do I sign up? Like, where's this church? And what do I have to read or say? Or like what lies do I
Sure.
what sounds need to come out of my mouth in order for me to bang these 20-year-old honeys? This is awesome. So anyway, ever since then, I'm like, man, I might need to start getting to a fucking church.
I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know how much of
No?
it's making a comeback,
I
but
don't know. I just hear like all these very it's athletes, right? I'm not here like listening to fucking like earnings calls of like Fortune 500 CEOs or anything. It's just sports. Um,
yeah.
but I hear all these athletes and like young athletes, like college kids, who I would think would just be out there once again trying to bang everything um on campus. And all these dudes are like married at like age 20 and always talking about Jesus and shit, and God and the MMA fighters. I'm like, man, okay, I think there's something here. I
Well,
think
they all have CTE. So I mean, like,
I
what are we
talked to
talking about?
Jesus last night. I'm talking to Jesus right now, actually.
Yeah.
He's right here next to me. You know what I'm saying? I don't
Yeah.
know. I just think there's something to it. And like, I'm always looking to experiment and try out alternative lifestyles and go down different paths. So I think I've got like a 5-year stint, maybe like 40 to 45, age 40 to 45, where I might go like hard into uh church. Just like go down that
You
road.
you know, what's funny? My stepdad, who you met, Bill, he he's really into religion, but from like a theological perspective.
Like
Like
an
I would not.
intellect, like an academic,
Yeah,
more academic. Yeah.
yeah. Like he actually went back to Emory a couple of years ago to try to get like a master's in theology. Um,
Oh,
he ended
really?
up, yeah, he ended up dropping the program, but yeah, he's always like read a lot of books about like, like historical books about Jesus. Not like he's not a
Right.
religious dude. Like we never went to church really. Um, but he just likes the history of it. So I could see you doing something like that, like getting like really well learned on like the arc of religion throughout humankind. Like that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, and become one of those guys that like goes and argues. This is like something David Mayo would do if you're drunk. Like goes and argues with the like apocalyptic, like you're all going to hell guys that are sitting outside of football and stuff.
Exactly, exactly. I will say Jesus definitely made
Like
a comeback in the
actually,
SEC
what was
championship
meant in the
game.
book of Mark, like the book of Mark was actually written by Constantine. He,
Yeah,
something like that.
exactly. Yeah.
It's funny you
By
say
the
that because
way,
the go ahead.
SEC championship, man, the Jesus freaks were out.
I bet that's what I'm talking
God,
about.
they were out.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
and Jimmy and I are like, yeah, these people don't have anything better to do today but yell at people through a megaphone about how they're all going to hell. Like, good
bro. I'm
Lord,
telling you,
that's
God,
sad.
God's making a comeback, bro. God's making a comeback,
Apparently, the Lord works in
dude.
mysterious ways.
How funny would it be if like 3 months from now Jesus is like reincarnated in fucking Syria or something, and there's like we're all,
That would be sick.
all,
That
all
would
of a
be
sudden some
sick.
guy is like splitting the Red Sea again and like having on TikTok.
Let's go. Let's
On
go.
TikTok, some like bearded fucking Arab guy is turning water into wine. Like, oh
But he's like, it turns,
shit.
but people aren't prepared for the fact that he's like pretty much he's basically like a black dude because he's like
Yeah,
historically he was very dark skinned. All the white Christians in America are freaked out.
we're gonna yeah. We'd be fucked, bro.
That'd be so great.
We're all going to hell.
Yeah, that's fine.
Maybe not you. I mean, you live a more Christian lifestyle. You're a married man. I don't think you're like fucking
I
around with
live a
your
more
wife.
Christian
And
lifestyle.
yeah, you're pretty Christian.
Yeah, that's probably like the first word that describes me.
I don't know.
Christian.
Kind of. Pretty pious.
Yeah, I do love the Lord.
Um,
All right, dude. I gotta bounce, but
that was
good
good.
catching
Thank you for
up.
hopping on. That was a good one. I like that. We touched a
Yeah,
lot of subjects in about 15 minutes. College football, NFL, God,
born again
marriage.
virginity.
Anything else? Go Seahawks. I mean, they're not going to lose. They're going to make the playoffs. And I'm going to do this exact same thing tomorrow. If you want to hop on for 15 minutes, and I'll watch the games.
Okay, yeah, we can talk more about like Georgia's opponent.
Talk more about Georgia's opponent. How each of us specifically are going to incorporate the teachings of Christ into our lives for the upcoming week. And then the following weekend, we can just kind of recap like, okay, brother, let's fellowship here about how we've each made
Let's
incremental
break bread.
improvements. Let's break bread here and delineate kind of the ways we've lived a more Christ-like existence.
Well, it is almost Jesus's birthday, so I think it's only fair
I
to
think
honor
today
him.
is actually Jesus' birthday. It's the winter solstice, shortest day of the year, which is actually what the pagans were celebrating while consuming high doses of psychedelic mushrooms and fertility rituals. And that's the actual origins of quote unquote Christ's alleged birth on December 25th. It's actually all tied to the winter solstice, which is today, the shortest day of the year, the point at which we're the farthest from the sun, the true creator, and the Lord of all things.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, let's go chew on that one.
I'm gonna go open my gifts now, I guess. Merry Christmas, dude.
All right. All right, dog. Thank you, brother. Love
Talk
you,
to you
man.
later.
Peace.